How to create amazing textures in Affinity Photo. You can use patterns, pattern layers. So go to Layer and New Pattern Layer. And I would suggest a fairly large size, not 32 by 32, that's the default. So I would say 400 by 400, but depends on the document, of course. Click OK. Now you need to fill it with something. I'm going to go with the gradient tool and add a gradient very quickly, white to black. Not particularly great colour, so I'm just going to change it. So click there, just make sure you click the gradient and just add some stops. And you can just double click and add a stop and again change the colour. Make it nice light colour like that. Once you've got that, select the move tool. You've got more options. More options for this pattern. You can go here, select the mirror. So click there and then you can resize it. And you can see the result of that resize. Maybe something like that. Create fairly small. I'm going to add a mask now. The mask is down here, so layers, and that's going to be added to the pattern layer. So click here, and you've got some options. With version 1, you've only got one option, but here, 6. So I'm going to go with the first one, mask. And there's default, but I'm now going to fill it with black. At the moment it's filled with white, so edit and fill, and you can see straight away it's filled with black, because that's my colour there. Custom colour, black. Click apply. So you've now got a pattern with a mask, and you can modify this mask. You can actually paint back some of the pattern by setting the brush stroke to white. I'm just going to go over here to the swatches, so make certain that's white, and go to the paintbrush tool. And you can see as I hover over it, now I'm using a spray brush, but you can use any of the other brushes as well. Just go to the brushes panel, select one of those and apply. And you can just apply it like that. Very subtle, just very, so that not all of the pattern is displayed. You've got these patches of transparency. And you can apply that. But what you can also do is you can go over here, expand it out, make certain you select the pattern, and then you go down to effects. So you can just click here. And the result will be different. Sometimes you get a really great effect, sometimes maybe not. So 3D, you can change the radius, and it does require a bit of tweaking, so the profiles here. So this one's a good one. I always like this one. So click this one. You can see it creates these lovely dots. I think that looks much nicer as a pattern design with the mask. And again, you change the radius, you can tweak it, and you can see as you do that, you get different results. And you can, of course, change direction if you want. But once you've got that, you see sometimes it actually takes a few seconds to reprocess. It's not the quickest. But what you can also do is you can apply effects. And I'm going to apply it to the mask. So I'm not going to apply it to the pattern. So select the mask. And then I can go to filters. So I can go to filter and I can say distort. And I'm going to go with deform. You could use any others as well. Deform. Maybe use equations. And you can add some pins. Just add pins across there and you can deform that mask. That's best to select the move tool, because sometimes with the brush selected, it ends up doing that. Unfortunately, that of course just makes that disappear. Let's bring that back again. Deform. Yeah, sometimes you end up seeing the brush design more. Now you can see what I've done now. I'm actually applying it to the pattern. I don't want that. What I want it is to apply to the mask. Always make certain you select that. If you don't, you go to the pattern, you get a different result, which you might want as well. So pattern, no. Mask, yes. So filters and distort and deform, and then add pins. Get there eventually. And then you can distort it, and you can see as you do that, what happens. The mask is stretched and distorted in all kinds of ways, but you've got these lovely sort of distortions here. Really, instead of having a like uniform design, you can really make it stretched out and really distorted in all kinds of ways to create some very unusual sort of textures. And click apply. You can see that result sort of stretching down there. It's a layer. As a layer, you can duplicate layers. Now, I don't want to duplicate the mask, so make certain you don't have the mask selected. This is the trouble with these things. Sometimes you have to select the right thing. If you don't select the right thing, you will end up duplicating the wrong thing, or you will duplicate or you apply a brush stroke to the wrong thing. Very easy to do. I do it all the time. So make certain you select the pattern, and now go to layer and duplicate. And you've duplicated it, and I think that just makes it look much nicer. But what you can also do, of course, is you can duplicate it again. So layer, and again down here, duplicate. So you get 3, 5, 10 layers. And you can see the result, I think, makes it look much nicer. But what you can also do is go to the pattern, and they're independent, so you can select one and the other. Now, sometimes what will happen, you'll notice you get some lines appearing, which is not great. So I'm just going to select this pattern and then resize it. So select the move tool, and you can see the pattern there, and you can resize. Now, if you go the other way, you'll see what happens. So you make it very, very small now. If you go out, that's why it's nice to make it very small to start, and then you can stretch it out like that, and then rotate it, and you won't get those lines because you see the line there. Just resize it again just to make certain you don't get that line, or just reposition it. So you can move it around. See, if you put it there, you can see the line. If you position there, you don't get the line. And I think it probably looks nicer without the line. And also you can do the same with the other one. So go here to this pattern, and you can see again you've got this, and you can resize that and rotate that. And again, you'll see this line again. Again, you can always resize the pattern. You can stretch it and distort that pattern. You're not distorting the mask. That's the pattern there is being the change. Obviously, it's attached to it, so obviously it's still distorted. But the pattern is being changed just by changing this little bounding box. And you can rotate it as well. And you can do this, of course, with all of the different layers. You can create 15, 20 different layers. And of course, you can apply colours to these things. You can tweak them. So you can always change the pattern, maybe change the colour as well. That's another option. But you can see you can build up very complex designs using these pattern and masks to create all these sort of mottled shapes and different pattern textures, all with these like dots and designs like that. But once you've done that, with this selected, you can always then merge them all. So layer and down to merge visible, or use merge down, just as reasonable. So merge down, merges in the other one, and again, merge down. Obviously you could use Control or Command E, probably quicker, and layer, and again, merge visible. Now merge visible creates a new layer. I don't want that. So I've got this design. Now there's still patterns. So I can still modify this and tweak this. Maybe, but again, you always get the problem. If you shrink it too much, you're going to get that. So you just get the right size that you're going to use right at the start. And you've got this design. And of course, once you've got this design, you can always rasterize it. In the end, just go to Layer, Rasterize, and you can say Preserve. Nope, I don't want that. Just rasterize. And it's all become one pixel layer. And then you can apply effects to that as well. So filter and distort, and maybe go for deform again, or maybe any of the others as well. Hope you found this tutorial of interest. Any questions about this approach, the pattern approach, about masks, anything, please let me know in the comments. Always great to hear from you. Also, a like or dislike, always appreciated. Bye.